What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty, back again with another video, and it's that time of the week, folks, where we take a look at DSP Gaming and DSP React's financial data. And of course, you guys know that I do this once a week, typically on our day off, once the work week is completed. And please keep in mind that the work week for this week is a little bit shorter than normal. Typically, Phil streams 6 days a week. This week he only streamed 5, so just keep it in mind when you see the low totals. But even with that extra day off, it still looks pretty bad for our boy. So let's just jump into it. So you guys know the work week started on August 4th and extended through August 8th. Again, he had 5 days, and as you can see here, his total tip amount was $621 for the work week, which compared to last week, where he made $964. You can see that's a pretty significant drop. We're talking over $300. So even if he had the additional workday, Phil would have still made less than he would have if he had worked the traditional 6-day work week. So that's pretty bad for our boy Phil. And as we talked last week, this is just a pattern for Phil where he's just been on a downward spiral ever since the Side Scrollers interview, and it really accelerated after May. He had a bit of a boost because the dents did rally for Street Fighter, but that's all he really had. And once the interest waned in that game, which it has, support has kind of cratered. And if you guys know, last week I went through the monthly totals for May, June, and July, and it was abysmal. So Phil is following that same pattern that he followed in August. So, I mean, in July. So I'm guessing in September, when we take a look at the financial information for August, it's going to look worse than it did for July. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Super Chats. The Super Chats totaled out for $370 for this week. And last week it was $440. So again, even if Phil had that extra day, he would still make less than he would have made last week. So it's pretty bad. So all in all, for tips and super chats, Phil made $991 this week, which we know is terrible just for the simple fact that, of course, it's less than the prior week. But we all know that Phil has made a huge investment in his joystick for PlayStation 5. Now, you may say, okay, Phil mentioned that he didn't have any money. Yes, that's true. He didn't have any money to plop down on the joystick, as of course a way to beg the dents to donate one. But what I'm guessing happened is he purchased it through Amazon, and Amazon allows you to do a payment plan, which is interest-free for 5 or 6 months, and that's what he probably did. So going forward for the next 5 or 6 months, we're going to have the joystick bill that Phil will probably complain that he owes every month. So that's kind of how he paid for that. So yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, if you compare it to last week, where he streamed 6 days, yeah, it's pretty bad. So Phil's going to have a rough time this week trying to buy grocery going grocery shopping, pet supply shopping, Total Wine. God forbid if he actually spends some money on WWE Champions. I mean, he's going to be hurting. I have a feeling that it's going to be one of these days where he has a bunch of appointments and then he comes home, orders some DoorDash, and watch Cat play Skyrim the rest of the day. It's going to be one of those deals. So yeah, so Phil might be having to eat some ham sandwiches, just for the mere fact that he did have to. Even if he got the payment plan, you still have to make the first payment when you buy the product. So even though you lay it away, you do lay away and you get the item, you still have to make the first payment. So we can deduct probably about $100 off of the tips just for the joystick. And mind you, that doesn't even include the PlayStation Plus network, which he had to pay $100 for, and then of course Street Fighter 6 for PlayStation. So Phil's going to have a pretty rough time this week convincing Cat that he has enough money to do everything that they need to do for the week. Phil's going to have to seriously cut some corners, and he better pray to God that itch doesn't hit him and he has to do some WWE pulls, because it may be it may be a rough go for our boy. He may have to come on tomorrow night and do a special video where he does a beg, and he does a whale call for Thursday to make sure that all the dents rally and give him extra support. Some emergency will come up. He may even use the Jasper is sick card so that he can have a marathon stream, so that, you know, no lie, it's going to cost $1,500 to fix Jasper. And yeah, hopefully he hopes that the dents will rally and provide him with the necessary funds to ensure he has enough liquidity. All right, folks, now let's look at the yearly totals and compare them to the same time period from 2023 and to 2022. And Phil is still having a rough time trying to catch up. So as you can see here, for the totals for 2023 so far, Phil's tips, he's managed to make $35,195. Now you compare that to last year for the same period, where he pulled in $40,018. That's a difference of negative 12%. So Phil is down 12% year over year in tips. Now, if we take a look at the super chats, Phil pulled in $13,991 for super chats for 2023. And if we compare it to the same time period in 2022, where he pulled in $16,385, we'll see that he is negative 15% year over year. So for his grand total for tips and super chats, Phil pulled in $49,186 so far this year. And that's compared to $56,403 last year, for a negative amount of 13.5%. So Phil is in the month of August, right? He has about 4 months to go in the work year, and he is down 13.5% year over year in income, which is terrible. Now, Phil, of course, claims that he is a business, and the purpose of a business is to always continually show positive growth. Quarter over quarter, year over year, you should always show a net gain in your profits. And it doesn't look like Phil will be doing that this year. It looks like he's going to be in the red for 2022. So usually when that happens for Phil, he panics and he has to make some drastic change. And it'll be very interesting what he does for 2024 to try to turn this around. Because yes, Phil will panic. And he'll try to come up with some gimmick. Last year it was DSP Reacts, which I personally believe has been terrible for Phil, just for the simple fact that he watered down DSP gaming. And he's known for gaming. I mean, as crappy as his gameplay is and as crappy as his views are, he's known as a gamer. And his followers that come to his stream follow him for gaming, you know, and they tip for gaming. They really don't care too much about the whole React content and the long form content. They really don't care about that. And the mere fact that Phil pulled away content from DSP Gaming to make it a whole separate channel and charge, I think it was just a bad idea. It just was. I mean, even though he is getting some memberships and getting some money to support that channel, if you compare the net loss that he has from DSP Gaming, it's just a wash. And I think it's more detrimental than it was favorable. And matter of fact, these totals that I'm showing here are both for DSP Gaming and DSP Rex. These are all the tips and the super chats that Phil has received for both channels. And again, I'm not including memberships, I'm not including ad revenue. This is simply just tips and super chats, Phil's largest money makers for his stream. So yeah, I mean, it's looking mighty bad for Phil, and it just seems like each week it's getting worse. And I suspect that August is probably going to be worse than July. And the reason why I say that is I was actually taking a look at Social Blade. Social Blade, here it is. Let me pull that up real quick. So Social Blade is good for they're good for view counts. Don't look at the ad revenue, the money or stuff like that. They're always way off. But subscribers and views, they're very good for calculating that. And as you can see, for the work week, Phil managed to pull. Phil is averaging for the daily. He's averaging for the last few days, he's averaging like 17,000 views on DSP Gaming, which is horrible. That's horrible. I mean, a day. So if you calculate that for 6 days that he's streaming, you know, look, here's weekly averages 122,000. So if you time that out by 4 weeks, we're talking about a little over 500,000 views, which is less than what he got last month. So last month, I think he pulled, so right here, you see the last 30 days here, he's averaging 524,000 views. So that's from 8/9 back to July 9th, right? If you look at his monthly totals for the month of July, he pulled in 542,000. So as you can see, if we're averaging it out, it should be pretty close, right? The 30 days. But you see that he's decreasing. His numbers are just dropping, and it's going to be less. He may hit under 500,000 this month if the trend keeps going the way it's going. So Phil's going to have to come up with another scheme. He's going to probably have to do more special events, maybe do one every other day, and hopefully Game Tracker can, you know, get a second job and make sure that he tips him maybe $60 a stream to help him out. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. By the way, hashtag justice for Jasper. Peace out.